Have you ever been on a call with a prospect trying to sell him your AI solution and he's just not buying it? He's not excited about it. In the opposite, he's doubtful about it. Now, my name is leofery and I've been helping hundreds of people selling their AI solutions as I've been doing sales for the last couple of years. And today, I want to explain to you how do you get a prospect to buy into your AI solutions and trust you and in the end give you their money. So the first thing you have to understand is the way they see your AI solution versus you see it, right? So I'm gonna draw two human beings, right? Oh, like this, right? So number one is you, number two is them, right? Now you have two eyes, right? They got two eyes as well. Now the thing is, in sales, the most important thing in sales is that you and them don't see the same thing with the same things. We call it paradigms, we call it perspectives. The thing you have to understand is you don't see it the same way as them. And so now the way you see it, most likely, right, because you've probably learned how to build an AI automation, an AI agent and what fuck not. I should stop swearing, by the way, but you see it as a make.com automation, an N8N and whatever not automation, AI agent, workflows, whatever you see it. Flow, all right? So that's what you say. That's what you see, right? Now, the problem that you're gonna have is that this is what you're gonna communicate to him. Now, what does he see, right? And to be fair, I've always been like them, right? Because I've always been the guy who is like, I'm not technical at all. I'm teaching you sales. Why? Because I'm very good at communication skills and I'm absolutely shit at technical skills, right? Do not ask me to build an AI bot. I will probably either quit after 2 hours because I'm gonna get fucking bored by it, or I'm just gonna, same thing. I'm just gonna give up after 2 hours. So, because I'm a person who comes from the less technical side of things, I've usually been always like a prospect. And I can tell you the biggest thing which has always been pissed me off when I spoke to friends and to some of my students selling AI, they speak to me about make.com. And the truth is now we're gonna come to the important part, they don't give a fuck, including me, about make.com, right? What do they see? They see a bunch of blah blah, right? Blah blah, waste of time, and fancy word for nothing, right? It has so annoyed me when they were trying to explain me this bot. I had a student who sent me over his bot via school over chat. And he was like, yeah, you can give it a try. I logged into the thing. It was so damn complicated that I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, make me a video explaining how to use it. He's like, you need a lot of space on your desktop. I'm like, what the fuck? Right? But this is the problem, because usually the people who do AI things are very technical people. If you're not a technical person, I don't suggest you building AI bots because you're just literally hating yourself and living a shit life. So if you're a soft person, soft skill, by the way, I'm not saying a soft person, a soft skills person, which means you're good at communicating, you're good at social skills, you should be able to sell them firstly easier, and secondly, you should find someone who can build them for you, right? But that's the side point. Now the important point is that here is a wall, and this wall needs to be overcome, right? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to hit the wall like this all the time. So you're just speaking a bunch of nonsense to someone who does not understand anything. And I'm taking the technical, non-technical as an example, right? There are technical prospects. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that if you're a soft skill person, you're going to communicate it better. What I'm saying is you're trying to communicate Japanese to a Chinese, right? It's not the fucking same language, right? And that's exactly the problem. And so what you gotta do is a very simple thing. you gotta stop speaking because what you're doing is speaking about technical aspects, right? Right? Technical, or worse, you're speaking about features. For example, oh, it integrates ChatGPT and Make.com and 7up and whatever not. You speak about features, and that is a crucial mistake because nobody cares about features, right? You do, they don't, and that's the exact problem. So what is it that they care about? Care about, you've probably maybe heard it before, benefits. And I'm going to be honest, I have such a hard time differentiating features from benefits. I'm like, what's the difference between a feature and a benefit? Good question. Well, see it like that. What is it that they want? And you always have to ask yourself that question, right? I was watching with some friends the Jack Sparrow movie, the Caribbean, whatever, right? And what was the interesting thing about that, the pirates, I'm getting off track, but it has relevance, which is the number one thing that they need to do to survive, right, and get what they want, is to understand what the other person wants. Jack Sparrow is constantly negotiating and getting his way basically saved and out of bad situations by negotiating, by knowing what the other person wants, right? So it comes back to you knowing what they want. So let's put a dentist, for example, right? A dentist doesn't want complicated back-end automations and what hell's not. He wants someone who is just gonna get an appointment, coming in, is structured, it's easy, less time consuming for the gate, for their front desk. That's it, right? What do they want? And that's exactly what you need to tell them. So when you are on your sales call with a presentation, right, you want, and that's the biggest mistake I've seen in presentation. On the presentation, the only thing you want to speak about are the benefits. Now, because I'm some kind, I'm actually going to walk through how to make a presentation, right? Or at least I'm going to give you a framework for it. Now, why should you work with a presentation / demo, right? Don't only work with a demo. A demo is not a presentation. A demo is an aspect of a presentation, right? Here's the reason why. Because because demo is a demonstration of what the product does, but it doesn't sell necessarily the product. A presentation is supposed to sell the product, right? So the one works without the other, but not the way around. Important. So the first thing I like to call it, by the way, I never like to have more than 10 slides, never more than 10 slides. So slide number 1 is just company name, right? Company name, and I like to usually add like what you stand for. What's the vision? What's the mission? What's the mission? You can call it vision. You can call it whatever you want, right? For example, back then I had a real estate marketing agency, so I was saying, helping real estate agents get the highest quality of leads in the area. Something like that, right? So that's first slide. Second slide, we're gonna go over the actual thing, why they should care, right? You gotta go straight into why they should pay attention. Because here's the thing, if you go speak about some features, about something they don't give a fuck about, makes sense that they don't pay attention? So the most important part is actually the second slide, which is why should they listen / care? Why should they care? And that question you have to answer on slide number 2, right? Now, you should already have found out in the discovery phase, so the few minutes before, you should already have found out and dig pain as to why they should pay attention. Here, you repeat it / you write it out, right? So you show them, okay, we do agree that you need to say agent because your front desk is wasting time taking calls. It could be structurized, systemized. Your potential clients are not waiting on a waiting list, right? So giving them the reasons why they should care. These are all the problems that you guys have. You can go 2 slides, 1 slide, 2 slides, 3 slides. The more you have, the more detailed it is, the better it is, right? But don't pull up useless things. Now, a small tip about here. Always keep it negative. What I mean by that is, I've seen so many people turn this around. Meaning in the second slide, they speak out the solution, right? So, for example, the problem is front desk wastes too much time. And so what you will write down is, with our solution, your front desk wastes less time. That is not pulling pain, because that's putting something negative into a solution. But you don't want to do that yet. You just want to speak about the problem. This is the problem, this is the problem, this is the problem. Do we all agree? Cool. Awesome. So now we're going to move into step number 3. I hope you like it so far. If you do, make sure to give this a quick like and a follow for more videos. All right? I do this out of free will, so you might just also enjoy it. So now we go into the benefit. I prefer to call it goals, right? What are the goals of using the tool, right? So now you take the same points, yes, the same points, and put them into the solution. Because now, here's what happens, right? If you've ever done sales, or maybe not because you're watching this video, you have 2 levels, right? That's what they are right now, and that's where they want to be. And if you want to make money, you have to be the bridge between both. Your job is to be exactly here, the bridge. So you have to connect the problem with the solution, with the goal. So you want to know, and also during the discovery phase, so during the time you ask them the questions in the beginning, what is their goal? You need to find that out, because you want to become the bridge between both. And now a very important aspect to this point, to this slide, is that you not only explain as to why that benefit solves that problem, but more important, why that benefit aligns with their goal. Why this thing that you have, or this AI solution that you have, is going to help them get to where they want, which is making more money, more profit, less stress, less work. Usually we want like along those lines. More money, less time, less stress. Right? It's pretty much always the same thing. It's just different numbers, different ages, different priorities, right? Because if you ask a 20-year-old, he doesn't give too much hell of how much time he puts in. He just cares about the money. When you speak to a 45-year-old dad, he cares about much more about time and stress. So I hope this makes sense so far. So first, you just have an introduction. Then you instantly speak about why they should listen. And I like to put it literally on the headline of the presentation. Why should you care? Explain why you should care. Here is why this is going to solve this problem, right? And by solving this problem, and that's the slide number 4 I was referring to, right? Now I have to put my beautiful drawing away. This red pen is really bad for my thingy, right? Slide number 4. Align solution to the goal, to dream or goal. Basically, now that we have covered, I'll make this actually even more clearer, right? Now, here's the thing. You go from what the problem is to the solutions to the problem. I literally like to repeat the problem and just below that as a point add the solution. And like I said, there could be multiple slides, right? Never ever put more than 6 things on a slide. The less things on the slide, the better. Like keep 2 points on a slide, that's it. As little amount of text as possible. Quick tip here as well, black background, white text, way better. Align the solution to the dream and the goal is the last and final step. Because now, what I was showing with the bridge, it makes the full thing. So now do you see, it doesn't matter whether you sell an AI, automation, bot, whatever. You speak the language of your prospect. Because now what do they fall in love with? The dream. And so now they think that through your system, through your solution, they will achieve their dream. You're welcomed. So this is how you get a prospect excited, and not only excited, more importantly, to buy your solution. Because your solution is now the bridge from where they're right now, which is struggling, to where they want to be, which is money, fame, and you're the bridge. So if you have more questions, drop them in the comments. I'm going to make more videos, so just tell me what you want to learn about. If you love it, make sure to give this a like and a follow, and I shall see you next one. Peace out.